At 70, I fell in love like a girl of 20, and it was a secret I buried in the folds of my cardigan. Isn't that a reckless thing to do? To let your heart race after decades of stillness, to feel it flutter under the weight of years, and to hide it from everyone you've ever loved. I did that though. I loved him in silence, and for 3 years, no one has known, not my children, not my grandchildren, not even the man who shared my bed for 40 years. Do you ever wonder what it's like to hold a secret so bright it burns? It was 2022, and I lived in a small house in Woodstock, New York, with clapboard walls and a front porch where the roses grew wild, their petals falling like confetti on the cracked wood. My husband Robert was gone 5 years in the ground, his laughter a memory I could still hear in the creak of his old rocking chair. I was a widow, a mother of 3, a grandmother of 7, knitting scarves for church fairs and baking pies for neighbors. My life was a quiet rhythm, coffee at dawn, the hum of the radio, the weight of routine. But routine is a fragile thing, isn't it? One crack, and the whole world shifts. His name was Henry, a painter who moved into the house across the street. He was 72, with hands stained by years of turpentine and eyes that held the sky. I met him at the community center, where he taught art classes to retirees. I signed up on a whim, thinking I'd learn to paint flowers. Instead, I learned him. He had a voice like gravel, soft but rough, and when he said my name, Eleanor, it felt like a song I'd forgotten. Do you know what it's like to hear your name and feel young again? We started with small moments. He'd bring me coffee, black, no sugar, and we'd sit on the center's porch, talking about Matisse, the way light falls on a canvas, the weight of time. I'd catch myself laughing, my fingers twisting the hem of my skirt, my heart racing like it hadn't in decades. Soon, we were meeting outside of class walks, by the creek. Evenings at his studio, where paint cans littered the floor, and canvases leaned against the walls. He showed me his paintings, bold strokes of blue, red, and gold, each one a story he'd never told. If you ever felt a connection so deep it scares you. One evening, under the dim glow of his studio's lamp, he kissed me. His lips were warm, tasting of coffee and something sharper, like regret. I was 70, my hair silver, my hands lined with age, yet in that moment, I was weightless. We didn't speak of it after, we didn't need to. It became our rhythm, stolen glances, quiet touches, moments tucked into the corners of our lives. I'd go home, bake cookies for my grandchildren, and smile at their stories, all while Henry's kiss lingered like a shadow. Can you imagine loving someone in secret, knowing it changes nothing but everything? I never told Robert's memory. I never told my children Anne, David, or Susan, who called every Sunday, their voices full of love and questions about my health. I never told my grandchildren, who climbed into my lap, asking for stories about the past. How could I to them? I was Grandma Eleanor, the one who made apple pies and knew every hymn by heart. But with Henry, I was something else, someone alive, someone reckless. Do you think a secret can make you a stranger to yourself? For 3 years, we carried on. We'd meet at the creek, where the water whispered over stones, or in his studio, where the air smelled of paint and possibility. He painted me once, my silver hair loose, my eyes catching the light. "You're my muse," he said, and I laughed. But the words stayed with me, heavy and bright. I kept the painting hidden in my attic, wrapped in an old quilt, a secret I'd visit when the house was quiet. Have you ever held on to something so precious you couldn't share it? I told myself. It was harmless. Robert was gone, and I wasn't hurting anyone. But every lie I told, every "I'm just going to the community center," or "I'm tired tonight," was a thread unraveling the life I'd built. My children would ask why I seemed different, brighter, and I'd say it was the fresh air, the painting classes. They believed me, they always did, but lies have a weight, don't they? They settle in your bones, heavy as regret. Last spring, Henry told me he was moving to Maine. His daughter wanted him closer, and he couldn't say no. I stood in his studio, surrounded by half-finished canvases, and felt the world tilt. He asked me to come with him. For one wild moment, I saw it. A new life, a small house by the sea, paint on my fingers, his hand in mine. But I thought of my children, my grandchildren, the life I'd woven over decades. I couldn't unravel it. I told him no, my voice steady, my heart breaking. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "You'll always be my favorite painting." Then he was gone. Do you think it's possible to love someone and let them go? I'm 73 now, and the house feels quieter without Henry across the street. The roses still bloom, but their scent is sharper, like memory. I knit, I bake, I sing to my grandchildren, but part of me is still in that studio, under that dim lamp, alive in a way I hadn't been in years. My children don't know. My grandchildren don't know. Robert's memory doesn't know. The painting in the attic is my only confession, and even that stays hidden. Why do we keep secrets, do you think? To protect those we love, or to protect the version of ourselves they need? I think of Henry sometimes, wondering if he's painting by the sea, if he sees me in the colors he chooses. I don't love him the way I did not with that reckless fire, but he's there, in the quiet moments, in the brushstrokes of my memory. I've lived a good life, a full life, but those 3 years are a light I'll carry to my grave. Do you believe a single moment can change who you are? So here I am, telling you this story, whispering it to strangers because it's too heavy to carry alone. Maybe you'll understand, maybe you'll judge, or maybe you'll just listen. What would you do if you were me? Would you tell your family, risk their love, or keep the secret, letting it glow in the dark? Tell me, please, because I'm still learning how to live with it. And if you have a story, a secret love, a hidden light, share it with me. Let's carry these truths together. Like, subscribe, and join our channel to hear more stories that touch the heart.